Yo, my dudes, what's going on? David here, and welcome to another reaction. This episode, we are diving into The Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 4, called Cherokee Rose. Hopefully, you've been enjoying the series. Hopefully, you're having a wonderful day. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Head on over to Patreon for the full, uncut, unedited reactions over there. Episodes extra early over there as well. But with that being said, as a matter of fact, with that being said, embrace your inner villain, Shane. Embrace it. You are already like the bad guy. Come on. You have been making like crazy decisions. You legit killed Otis. Embrace it. And I think he did embrace it by shaving his head off, even though it was because of the hair he lost from Otis pulling on it. But still, embrace it, dude. Embrace it. Buckle up. Let's ride.
How long's this girl been lost?
This will be day 3.
County survey map.
Alrighty, season 2, episode 4 of The Walking Dead, and this episode I can't help but think was a middle of the tier sort of episode, 4th episode into season 2. There's not really much to offer for this episode, to me, in my opinion. I'd probably go 6-7 range. I thought it was alright. I mean, once you care for characters enough, it's really hard to go lower than that. But there's really not much going on in this episode. We obviously pick up where we left off from the previous episode, where we are mourning the death of Otis. You know, they're doing like a ceremony for him, proper burial, obviously without the body. And then there was a moment for Shane to tell the truth, but obviously he won't do that because nobody would be really excited to hear that he had to say what he had, like the truth. And so he had a moment to say something, but instead he, you know, kind of made up a lie. I mean, but in a sense, he made Otis seem, not that Otis was bad by any means, but he made Otis seem even more so caring and loving. That was pretty much the beginning of the episode. Then we pretty much it's just a lot of, in this episode, just looking for Sophia. Obviously that happened the first episode, so we've now been looking for her for 3 episodes. If you want to include the first one, it'd be 4 episodes of, you know, looking for Sophia. I hate to be the, you know, Debbie Downer or whatever, however you pronounce it, but Negative Nancy, is that it? I don't know. There's a saying. But anyways, I hate to be negative about it, but it seems like the more days you go without knowing where she is, the least chance she has of surviving this thing. She's obviously, you know, been gone for, you know, if I were to go every day being an episode, that would be at least 3 to 4 days. But I would assume that it's even more so time than that, because the show, I don't know the time frame of the show. They might have mentioned how long it's been since she's been gone, but I'm assuming it's been quite some time. Whenever you start to get to you know, when the days start to add up, it never ends well. We have a moment where Shane is talking to Lori, asking if she really meant that she wanted him to stay. That, in a sense, worries me. I mean, obviously she feels grateful that Shane, you know, went out of his way to get what he needed to save Carl. But you would have to be blind as a bat if you don't see how much feelings Shane has for Lori. Like, it's almost hostile how much like feelings he has towards his best friend and his partner's wife. That never can end well either. There's no way. Unless Andrea and Shane start being a thing, where I can kind of see them hanging out a little bit more with the whole, you know, him teaching her how to clean guns, them both being like the, you know, kind of oddballs in the group. I can see something maybe potentially brewing. And for the benefit of Shane, I think he needs something like that. So I'm hopeful for that, but we'll have to wait and see when it comes to that. Otherwise, it was a pretty standard episode. It wasn't really anything exciting going on. Herschel, to me, very wise, very religious, which isn't a bad thing, but I feel like Dale was already that. So adding another one of those into the group seems kind of like boring at times. And it's nothing towards Herschel. It's just he has a slow way of talking. He's always so religious and believe. I don't know. He's fine, but in this episode, he didn't do anything. He's just kind of just giving advice to Rick. He does mention at one point that Rick and the group, once Carl gets healthy and they find Sophia, that they have to leave. That was interesting. I think that, just offering them that gives them the opportunity to win Herschel over. It's giving them a little bit of time to, at least. He's not telling them to get off the property now. We also get Glenn and Maggie going on a mission to the pharmacy to get some antibiotics and personal note or personal list that Lori gave Glenn himself. Glenn gets caught looking for the pregnancy test that Lori asked for. And instead, obviously not trying to be awkward in the feminist aisle, he grabs a box of condoms and said he was just looking for personal things. The idea of that, for some reason, got Maggie, I guess, a little excited. So they obviously had a special moment. The way that Maggie was talking afterwards made it seem like it wasn't as magical as Glenn was making it out to be. But he looked very happy. So I'm happy for them. Tough times. And, if you can get a moment to not have to think about the tough times, by all means, just do it. You know what I mean? Prior to them going on that mission, though, on that, run to the city, the T-Dog and Dale find a walker in the well from one of the wells that they, obviously grab water from. They then try to figure out a way to get the walker up and out of the well so they can still use that water just in case it's not contaminated. And they were risky as hell. I would have been pissed as hell if they volunteer me, if I was the Glenn of the group and they volunteered to lower me down to be live bait for this walker just to wrap a rope around him and pull him out the nice way. But basically, they wasted all this time doing all of that. They finally pull it up. The walker's stuck on something, so it rips in half all the blood and all his lower half just right back down into the well. So basically, we wasted all this time. We almost risked Glenn's life for what? Absolutely nothing. But then a couple moments with Carl and Rick, which were fine. Just, him being dad, trying to apologize for telling him that Sophia was all good to go. He obviously didn't want him to worry about that. And then we get to the end where Lori obviously finds out that she's pregnant. She did not seem very thrilled, obviously, with, what they're dealing with and everything like that. Being pregnant is the last thing you want to be. My issue then becomes, whose kid is it? I also feel like, unless there's pregnancy test that the second you pee on the stick, it showcases that you're pregnant or you're not. I thought you usually had to wait for a little bit, but maybe time, a little bit of time passed by. It just initially looked like she peed on it, held it up, and it was already ready, reading what she needed to read. But yeah, whose kid is it at this point? Because obviously she's been sleeping with her husband again, but we can't dismiss the fact that she was sleeping with Shane. So, you know, the timetable, you don't know, man. There's potential. There's potential. It could be a Rick son, Rick child, or a Shane child. Who knows? But that's the episode. Hopefully you enjoyed the reaction. Hopefully you enjoyed the review portion. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Head on over to Patreon for the full, uncut, unedited reactions over there. Episodes extra early over there as well. Like I said before I go, 6-7 range, kind of the middle of a season sort of episode. Nothing really exciting going on in this episode, but still okay, because if you enjoy the show and the characters themselves, you know, certain episodes like this will still be interesting enough to watch, but just nothing exciting really going on besides, I guess, a big reveal with Lori being pregnant, and then you know, Glenn and Maggie having a moment. Those are probably the bigger things that I pulled from this. You know, some cool Daryl stuff. Daryl's always cool. He's got a really big heart, and that's good to see that. But yep, 6 to 7 range. But don't worry, guys. I know this is not what the remainder of the season is gonna be like. I just have this gut feeling they, you know, got a little lazy in this episode, but that's all right. We can let them off the hook. But that's all the time I have, so I will catch you guys later. Thanks so much. Peace, guys.